Nachmon, sefer hamidos, the book of traits, or the book of attributes, hamidos yishoros, or also called the beis book, sefer beis. Chapter letter beis, bonim, children. 1. Anyone who cries and mourns over an upright man merits to raise his children. 2. One must guard a baby that it should not go with an uncovered head. One must guard a baby that it should not go about, in brackets about, and in brackets with an uncovered head. 3. A man does not need to worry about the income of his children, for as they grow, their income grows with them. 4. One who causes his friend to abstain from to be fruitful and multiply will go to Sheol, the pit, childless. One who causes his friend to abstain, brackets, translator's note, even temporarily, end of brackets, from, brackets, the commandment of, end of brackets, be fruitful and multiply, i.e., to engage in kosher relations with his wife, to bring children into the world, end of brackets, will go to Sheol, the pit, childless. 5. One who forces his wife to have relations with him will have children that are not proper. One who forces his wife to have relations with him, brackets, even when it is a mitzvah, even when it is a mitzvah, end of brackets, will have children that are not proper, brackets, upstanding, end of brackets. 6. A woman who bleeds menstrual blood excessively, her pain in bringing children into the world is greater. 7. A daughter of a kohen, the priestly class, who marries in Israel, which is the common class, and a daughter of a Torah scholar who marries one without education, will not have children. A daughter of a kohen, the priestly class, who marries an Israel, common class, and a daughter of a Torah scholar who marries one without education, literally a person of the land, will, end of brackets, will not have children, literally seed. 8. Fasting on Thursdays is auspicious. Segula is an auspicious segula against the pain of having children. 9. The modesty of a woman merits her to have upstanding children. 10. Through the joy of the festivals and through the proper donning of tefillin, one's wife will give birth to sons. 11. Sometimes when one does not have children and others pray for him that he should have, he dies. 12. For the sin of vows, children die. For the sin of, brackets, not upholding one's, end of brackets, vows, children die. 13. Change of habitat causes to have children. Change of habitat causes, brackets, the ability, end of brackets, to have children. 14. Grown children do not die for the sins of their fathers, but in a place where the name of God is profaned, even grown children die. 15. One who eats meat and drinks wine will have healthy children. 6. One who looks at the heel of a woman or at his wife when she is in her days of impurity will have improper children. 17. One who lives 10 years in the land of Israel and does not have children should divorce his wife, lest he did not merit to build by her, lest he did not merit to, brackets, have his lineage built by her. 18. What should a man do to have male children? He should marry a woman who is fitting to him, sanctify himself at the time of marital relations, and ask from the one to whom all sons belong, and ask, brackets, for sons, and in brackets, for the one, from the one to whom all sons belong. 19. Anyone who begets a child brings forth a child similar to himself. 20. A man should beware not to cut down a tree before its time, for this harms the raising of his children. 21. All who pursue charity merit to have sons who are wealthy, wise, and proficient in the homiletic section of the Torah. All who pursue, brackets, giving, and brackets, charity merit to have sons who are wealthy, wise, and proficient in the homiletic section of the Torah. 22. What should a man do to have children? He should spread his wealth to the poor, and cheer his wife before relations with her. 23. Just as it is forbidden to murder a man, so it is forbidden to cut down a fruit before its time. So it is forbidden to cut down a fruit tree before its time. A fruit tree, not before its time. 24. Yoav, who did not leave a son similar to him, brackets, in his stead, and in brackets, it is said of him that he died. David, who did leave a son similar to him, in brackets, and in his stead, and in brackets, it is said of him that he laid, in brackets, to rest. Not died, but laid to rest. 25. One who has a daughter first, the evil eye will not have power over him. 26. One who raises an orphan in his home is as if he gave birth to him. 27. One who teaches his friend's son Torah is as if he gave birth to him. 28. 40 days in brackets of the beginning of a pregnancy, which is, end of brackets, before the creation of the fetus, one should pray that his wife will give birth to a son. 29. One who thinks about promiscuity, his wife also comes to have such thoughts, and when his wife has promiscuous thoughts, the husks, evil forces come to her in a dream, and through this her children die. and when his wife has promiscuous thoughts, the husks, evil forces come to her, in brackets have relations with her, end of brackets in a dream, and through this her children die. 30. One who is promiscuous causes that his wife will commit adultery on him. 31. One who burns his friend's crops will not leave a son to inherit him. 32. A woman who miscarries her children at the time of birth, place an apple on her head. A woman who miscarries her children at the time of birth, place an apple on her head. 33. One who does a mitzvah, which is a commandment or a good deed, and does not finish it, buries his wife and children. 34. One who marries a woman for the sake of money will have improper children and will lose the money in a short time. 35. One who is involved in learning Torah and acts of kindness will merit to have many children. 36. Children do not die for the sins of their fathers unless they grasp the deeds of their fathers in their hands, i.e. continue in their path of sin. 37. Marital relations during pregnancy are beneficial to the fetus to beautify it, literally lighten it, make it more agile, and a possessor of fine form and strength. Make it more agile, mezarzoi, and a possessor of a fine form and strength. 38. One who does not have children should accept upon himself exile, in brackets to go into, and in brackets exile. 39. One who goes down into his fellow's business, i.e. begins to compete with him, is as if he committed adultery with his friend's wife. 40. When a man is delivered into the hands of his enemies, it is as if he lost his children. 41. Someone who had sexual relations with the Kusis woman. This was a large group that converted to Judaism, but in reality kept serving idolatry, end of brackets. Or a male. Someone who had sexual relations with the Kutis woman, or a male, or had idolatrous contemplations, will not have a son who is a Torah scholar. And if his son does learn Torah, he will be forgetful. 42. Good children are a great healing for their fathers. 43. Through falsehood the children die. 44. One who does not separate from his wife close to her period, even if he has children like those of Aaron, they will die. In brackets, in contrast, and brackets, one who does separate from his wife at that time, he will have sons who are fitting to be legal deciders. 45. One who does Abdullah on wine at the closing of the Shabbos will have male children who are fitting to be legal deciders. 46. One who sanctifies himself in marital relations through conducting himself modestly will have sons. 47. One should be very careful that one's child is not nursed by an evil woman, for milk contaminates and milk purifies. 48. Hot water and oil give health to the fetus. Brackets, bathing in hot water and brackets, anointing one's self with, and brackets, oil give health to the fetus. 49. One who does not hold himself back from urinating, his prayers on behalf of his children will be heard. 50. The fetus develops according to the form of the father and mother. 51. Bad mannerism in a person's house is worse than the war of Gog and Magog. Brackets, a war of immense proportions that according to prophecy will take place right before the redemption. End of brackets. 52. One should come to synagogue early and stay late, and his children will have longevity. Literally, his children's days will be lengthened. 52. One who should come to synagogue early and stay late, and his children will have longevity. Literally, his children's days will be lengthened. 53. One should not treat one son differently than his other sons. 54. Through Hanukkah and the candles of Shabbos, one will have sons who will be Torah scholars. 55. Whoever loves the sages will be given sons who become sages. Whoever loves the sages will be given sons who become sages. Whoever honors sages is given sages as sons-in-law. Whoever loves the sages will be given sons who become sages. Whoever honors sages is given sages as sons-in-law. 56. Through the sins of oath. Through the sins of, in brackets, not fulfilling, end of brackets, oaths. Also for the sin of desisting from Torah study. Also for the sin of mezuzahs, also for the sin of, in brackets, faulty or lacking of, end of brackets, mezuzahs, also for the sin of tzitzis, the sin of, in brackets, faulty or lacking of tzitzis, also for the sin of causeless hatred. Children die when they are young. 57. One who gives maser, tithe of his money, his children are saved from the sickness of samko, redness. 58. Small children, literally infants of the house of their rabbi. Retribution is exacted upon them for the generation, for the brackets sins of the end of brackets generation. 59. Through myrtle on Shabbos, through brackets smelling end of brackets myrtle on Shabbos, one merits having children who will be Torah scholars. 60. A woman who miscarries her children, a segula, a spiritual benefit, protection for this is for her to bathe a bride before the wedding ceremony. 61. According to how a man eats, so will be his sons and daughters. So will be his sons and daughters. 62. One whose sons die should not have marital relations during the week, only from Shabbos to Shabbos. 63. The drawing of a bow on Lag BaOmer is a skula, spiritual benefit for children. Also, praying before the pulpit, the amud, with melody is a skula for children. 64. One must teach a child proper behavior, derech eretz, from a young age. 65. The songs and praises that are said before dawn are a skula for children, for sons, children or sons. It is also helpful for a woman deficient in her milk, and for an evil woman who is bad-tempered. 66. One who belittles himself before his rabbi by asking about all his doubts, even though his rabbi embarrasses him, in brackets for it, and in brackets. Through this, he will merit to have a child who is greater in Torah than his rabbis. 67. One who accepts suffering with love will merit to have children who will live long. 68. The acts of God, literally Hashem, the name, follow after the name of a man, for a name has causative power. The acts of God, literally Hashem, the name, follow after the name of a man, for a name has causative power. 69. One who raises his voice in order to glorify himself, his children will be brought into captivity. 70. One who doesn't have children should oil regularly. One who doesn't have children should, brackets, use and brackets, oil regularly. 71. And sometimes one should uproot his dwelling and his children will live. 72. Through pursuing peace, one saves his children from death and exile. 73. Someone who does something and afterwards it becomes a stumbling block for others, good is denied to his children. 74. Sometimes because of the great love between a man and his wife, she does not conceive. 75. Usually when barren women conceive, they give birth to a son. 76. Through verbal abuse, children die. 77. A tzaddik possesses the power to curse a man, that his children will not be proper. 78. One who has the tzaddik as a guest by him is blessed with children. One who has the tzaddik as a guest by him is blessed with children. 79. One who longs to do a mitzvah, commandment, or good deed, but does not merit to do it, through this, in brackets, longing, and in brackets, he will merit having children who inherit his greatness, and eventually will do that mitzvah. 80. One who deprives someone's livelihood, his children will eventually die. 81. A magnet is a segula, spiritual benefit for children. 82. One's children die as a result of working with impure names, or sorcery, or believing in them. One's children die as a result of working with impure names, or sorcery, or believing in them. 83. When a man and his wife wash their hands and give charity before relations, through this, they remove the spirit of impurity from the children they conceive. 84. There are women who raise only girls and not boys. 85. Saying the scriptural passages about tzitzis with self-sacrifice and with great awe, and also clothing the naked. Through this one merits to have male children. 86. A year in which there is blessing in brackets in the produce, and in brackets, this is an indication that the Jews will be fruitful and have many children. 87. A woman who deals in witchcraft, her children die and she becomes a widow. 88. A nursing woman whose milk is deficient, the segula, auspicious act of the segula for this is for her husband to mourn over Yerushalayim. 89. Violence, literally beatings, come upon one's sons through falsehood. Location can also be a cause. 90. One who gives joy to a bride and groom will merit that his wife will birth sons. 91. Also through being careful with candles. 92. A year with abundant rain is a sign that in that year many sons will be born. 93. A man and his wife who curse each other will not raise their children. 94. A skula for raising children. Plant any type of crop, and when you harvest it, give it to the poor. Do not benefit from it yourself. 95. One who casts excessive fear upon his generation will not uphold wise children. Will not uphold wise, literally wise of heart, end of brackets, children. 96. One who does not have mercy on his children, it is certain that he does not possess a portion of holy intelligence. One who does not have mercy on his children, it is certain, in brackets, known, end of brackets, that he does not possess a portion of the holy intelligence. 97. When he does not review his learning, end of brackets, and forgets it, then though through this the children die. When he does not review his learning and forgets it, through this the children die. 98. Through sexual immorality, one will not raise children. 99. The name of Elikah, which is the name of God, gives protection to children. 100. One who strives to assure an income to people who seek God will merit that his children not go off into bad ways. Develop, turn out into bad ways. 101. Through faith in the tzaddikim, one's children live and prosper. 102. When a male child comes into the world, kindness comes to the world. 103. One who causes his father and mother pain will not merit to raise sons. 104. One who pursues peace, through this he will merit seeing his children's children. 105. Breakage to a door or a window is a sign of weakness in one's children. 106. Contention is a bad sign. Contention is a bad sign for having children, and peace is a good sign. Contention is a bad sign for having children, is a bad sign for brackets, having, end of brackets, children, and peace is a good sign. 107. Children will be fools. Children will be fools when their father is bad-tempered. 108. Through respecting your father, you merit having male children. Second part of children banim. 1. One who suffers in the raising of his children, in brackets this includes having children, end of brackets, should read the biblical passages describing the creation every day. Also, through this reading, one is saved from the accusations of being a thief. 2. A skula for having children is humbling oneself. 3. Planting a vineyard is damaging to the growth of fetuses. 4. Endeavoring to free captives is a skula for giving birth. 5. The saying of the hamidos is helpful for children, brackets, having, end of brackets, children. 6. A woman whose children die from the disease called samko, a certain redness, that is zedushin, should wash them in oil and then burn this oil afterwards, in brackets, to heat the water, and in brackets, for a ritual immersion. 7. One against whom many arise to challenge him on account of his faith, and he stands up against them and makes well-received counterclaims. Through this he will merit having many children, and the world will be filled with his seed. 8. The letter He, the fifth letter of the Hebrew alphabet, made out of silver, is a skula for propagation. 9. Sometimes the construction of the house prevents a woman from birthing, as when the beams are not placed according to their order from the 6 days of creation. In such a case, the house is as if it were destroyed, even though it is standing. This destruction comes and harms the woman, and she does not give birth. 10. One must look for a mohil, a ritual circumciser who is righteous and God-fearing, For when the mohil is not fitting, it can happen that the child, in brackets, when he is grown, end of brackets, will not be able to have children, literally cause birth. Also, when the mohil is not fitting, the child can, God forbid, come to suffer from falling disease, often translated as epilepsy. 11. Brackets, a deceased person who has a son involved in studying the Torah is as if he never died. A deceased person who has a son involved in studying the Torah is as if he never died. 12. The milk of a righteous woman is good for the baby to have fear of heaven, and also gives him dominion over this world. 13. Death of one's children, God forbid, comes through causing one's friend to fall away from his faith. 14. When there is peace in a country's government, the Jews give birth to master teachers. Bale haro, people who give halachic rulings. The Jews, when there is peace in a country's government, the Jews give birth to master teachers. 15. One who guards himself in, as well as the season and time of, conjugal relations, that they are balanced. That is to say, that neither he nor the season is too hot or too cold. Through this, the children born to him will be great sages. 16. One who has control over his desires causes that his children will not be drawn to evil ways, that his money is blessed, and that he will not be put to a test. 17. Even a woman who is righteous but not of respected lineage will have unworthy children. 18. In a time of abundant grain in the world, it is a sign that males will be born. In a time of abundant wine, it is a sign for the birth of females. 19. One who does not have a son should accustom himself to bring gifts to Torah scholars and say the section of Torah verses about the first fruit offering, bikurim. Also, he should increase his study of Talmud and minimize his study of Agada, for studying Agada is a schooler for having girls. 20. By learning the codes of Jewish law until one is able to render halachic decisions, one causes a number of barren women to conceive. 21. Sometimes, through being held in prison, one is saved from being barren of children. 22. Through charity, one merits to have children. 23. A schooler for a woman who is having difficulty giving birth is to hang the keys to the cemetery from her neck. This is also a schooler for becoming pregnant. 24. Children die, God forbid, by (brackets the father) and (brackets seeing a wanton seminal emission. Children die, God forbid, by (brackets the father seeing) (brackets having) and (brackets a wanton seminal emission. 25. There are trees which, when their wood is used to make one's bed, hinder birth and raising children. Conversely, there are trees which promote birth and raising children. 26. One who has had children die at a young age should have his (brackets living and (brackets child's mother) make a coat that he should wear always until he matures. 27. When the Jews are fruitful and multiply, the non-Jewish nations make new harsh decrees upon us. When the Jews are fruitful and multiply, the non-Jewish nations make new harsh decrees upon us. 28. Self-mortification is helpful for giving birth. 29. Thorns are fortuitous, helpful, mesugel for giving birth. Thorns are fortuitous, mesugel, helpful for giving birth. 30. Someone who is born circumcised, it is certain that his imagination is good and pleasant and beautiful. Chapter House Beis. 1. A house that is uninhabited, beware of entering it, for it is a place of demons. 2. One who has negative experiences in one place should go to another. One who has negative experiences in one place should go to another. 3. When a house is fit to be blessed, then when the tzaddik comes to the house, the blessing comes as well. 4. There are places that are conducive to good fortune, and the opposite is true as well. 5. Relating to the issue of the good and bad that comes to a person in a fashion proximate to natural events, it is all according to the time and place. 6. One who takes revenge out of jealousy destroys his house. Pays back. Revenge pays back. One who takes revenge out of jealousy destroys his house. 7. The place from where a man exited, he does not have desire for that place, to get from it pleasure. 8. If there is an uneducated chassid, one who is overly pious, uneducatedly, do not dwell in his neighborhood. 9. If there is an uneducated chassid, do not dwell in his neighborhood. 9. Any house in which words of Torah are heard will not be destroyed. 10. A city which has major ascents and descents in its topography, its inhabitants grow old halfway through their lives. 11. If wine is poured out like water in a house, there is blessing. 12. Do not enter a house with idols in it. 13. Someone who wants to enter a house to live in it, he should recite the Torah in its entirety, and afterwards he can enter to live in it. 14. Someone without land is not a man. 15. There are places which cause one to commit transgressions. 16. Anger and adultery of a woman destroy the house. Anger and adultery of a woman destroy the house. 17. When the threshold of a house, or its entrances are destroyed, it is an evil omen for the house. Second part of house beis. Living on the upper floor of a house is more conducive to serving God than living in the bottom floor. 2. Sometimes the construction of the house prevents a woman from conceiving, as when the beams are not placed according to their order from the 6 days of creation. In such a case, the house is as if it were destroyed, even though it is standing. This destruction comes and harms the woman, and she does not conceive. 3. At the entrance to a man's house, it is discernible if his ancestral merit has finished, or if his ancestral merit is effective. 4. One needs to be careful in the building of a house that it should not have in its construction wood from trees that produce fruit. 5. The lumber that is in a structure, if a man merits, it will be in the aspect of fiery angels standing, and the structure will stand for a long time. If he does not merit, the fiery angels are burned, and thus the fires that abound. If he does not merit, the fiery angels are burned, and thus the fires that abound. 6. When a man builds a wall, and its capstones fall, and its capstone falls, he should know that this is an evil omen for his progeny. 7. A man does not find satisfaction, literally in joy or benefit, unless he dwells in a place where his forefathers dwelled. 8. It is a segula auspicious when one moves into a new house to live, to bring in a sword, knife, or other weapon. A sign for this, with wisdom the house will be built. In Mishlei, wisdom is the acronym for the passage Chachma is the acronym for the passage extorted trade are their weapons. Extorted trade are their weapons. The word their trade from this passage shares 2 definitions: their swords and their dwellings. The word their trade from this passage shares 2 definitions: their swords and their dwellings. Brackets, as both variations are explained in Rashi there. 9. The cap of a house is a sign for the group or family concerning what will happen to them. The cap of a house is a sign for the group or family concerning what will happen to them. Chapter Busha Shame. One who humiliates his friend becomes mute and forgets. 2. It is permitted to embarrass the rabbis who lease the rabbinate for the sake of conceit, and it is appropriate to disgrace them and to make light of their honor, and one should not stand for them, and they should not be called rabbi, and the prayer shawl on them is like a mule's saddle. 3. It is better to annul one's Torah study than to humiliate a Jew. It is better to annul one's Torah study than to humiliate a Jew. 4. One who humiliates a Torah scholar or one's friend in front of a Torah scholar is an apikoris, apostate. He is also called one who is brazen-faced against the Torah. 5. The garment of a righteous man atones for the spilling of blood. 6. When people insult you, fast and weep. 7. When shame comes to you, it is only that you should repent for the sins that you commit carelessly. 8. Also, shame comes when you rejoice in the pain of your friend. 9. Envision the letters of belief, emunah, in Hebrew, emunah, spelled emunah, and through this there will not come upon you any shame. Envision the letters of belief, emunah, and through this there will not come upon you any shame. 10. Someone who needs to give over a collateral to procure a loan, it is certain that these items which were pledged were contemptible in his eyes in another life. It is certain that these items which were pledged were contemptible in his eyes in another life. 11. When some shame comes upon a person, he should expect a salvation. 12. One who wants to be shamed, brackets, or feel ashamed, should envision the image of his mother. One who wants to be shamed, brackets, or feel ashamed, should envision the image of his mother. 13. Through giving charity for the sake of heaven, you will come to the trait of abashment. 14. When shame comes upon a person, it is certain that he does not have the quality of trust, in brackets, in God. 15. One who digs a pit, in the end he will be shamed, and sometimes the matter causes him to become the subject of gossip among people. One who digs a pit, in the end he will be shamed, in brackets, to whatever degree, in end of brackets, and sometimes the matter causes him to become the subject of gossip among people. 16. Through having trust, shame will not come upon him. Through having trust, in brackets, in God, end of brackets, shame will not come upon him. 17. One who steals from the poor, shame comes upon him. 18. When a person cusses and embarrasses you, cusses and embarrasses you, shames and embarrasses you, and he is not your enemy, carry and bear the shame, for it is certainly from heaven that he should berate you. And by this shame you will be hidden and concealed from the Satan who hates you and is always overbearing upon you and accusing you. When a person cusses and embarrasses you, and he is not your enemy, carry and bear the shame, for it is certainly from heaven that he should berate you. And by the shame you will be hidden and concealed from the Satan who hates you and is always overbearing upon you and accusing you. Through this shame that you bear from one who is not your enemy, through this the enemy, Satan, will not be overbearing on you. 19. Through adulation you will become an object of derision among the nations, among the Gentile and nations, and the nations and the Gentile and nations will curse you and be enraged at you. 20. When someone humiliates you or laughs at you, it is certain that you humiliated his forefathers. 21. When everyone is humiliating you and causing you pain, be silent and do not leave your house, literally from the entrance of your house. 22. When you are being humiliated, give charity. 23. Through charity you will merit to the quality of abashment. 24. Humiliation of a king, the Holy One, blessed be he, punishes even a nation that humiliates a different king of a foreign nation. 25. A sinner will be humiliated in the world to come before his teachers, rabbis, alternate texts, forefathers. 26. One who humiliates a Torah scholar will have no healing for his wounds. 27. It is proper that when hearing from a friend a falsehood, not to jump and embarrass him. Rather, hint to him with emotion so that he will recognize that it is not so. It is proper that when hearing from a friendhood a falsehood, not to jump and embarrass him. Rather, hint to him with emotion so that he will recognize that it is not so. 28. It is a mitzvah to publicize evildoers. 29. One who is abashed will not readily sin. 30. One who does not have the quality of abashment, it is certain that his forefathers did not stand on Mount Sinai. 31. Mount Sinai. 31. It is better, literally easier, or more comfortable for a man to throw himself into a fiery furnace so as not to humiliate his fellow man in public. 32. When your friend humiliates you, agree with his words. 33. One who embarrasses literally whitens, because when a person is embarrassed, the blood rushes out of his face. And in brackets, one who embarrasses his fellow man in public, it is as if he spilled blood, and he descends to hell and will not rise. 34. It is better, literally easier or more comfortable, for a man to have relations with a woman who might be married than to humiliate his fellow man. 35. Do not embarrass one of the nation who is committed. Do not embarrass one of the nation who is committed as you are to the Torah and commandments. However, it is permitted to humiliate a sinner or to verbally abuse him. One of the nation. Do not embarrass one of the nation, someone who's with you, person who's with you in Torah, one of the nation who is with you, one of the nation who is committed with you, like you, as you are. Do not embarrass one of the nation who is committed as you are to the Torah and commandments. However, it is permitted to humiliate a sinner and to verbally abuse him. 36. All the gates, in brackets, of prayer are closed, save the gate of one who has been verbally abused. All the gates, brackets, of prayer are closed, save the gate of one verbally abused. 37. All things are punished by a messenger, except for verbal abuse, and the curtain is not locked before it. All things are punished by a messenger, except for verbal abuse, and the curtain is not locked before it. Chapter Clothes. 1. A person's clothes hint at his character traits. A person's clothes hint at his character traits. 2. One who goes barefoot, it is certain that he sins. 3. As a result of brazenness, brazen forehead, one is punished through his clothes. As a result of brazenness, one is punished through his clothes. Also due to oaths. Also due to, brackets, false oaths. 4. One who is not careful not to look at his father's nakedness. In the end, his children will go naked and barefoot. 5. One who eats before the prayer is punished through his clothes. 6. Due to arrogance, one is punished through his clothes. 7. One who seduces his friend away from the right path to the wrong one will consequently not have with what to clothe himself. 8. One who is a guarantor for a non-Jew is punished through his clothing. 9. In the future, the Holy One, blessed be He, will be avenged from those who dressed in the clothing of non-Jews. 10. One who goes in torn clothing due to poverty, his rectification is weeping before the blessed Lord. His rectification is brackets through and brackets weeping before the blessed Lord. 11. All who treat clothes with disrespect will end up not benefiting from them. 12. One who makes a garment for a poor person will be saved from humiliations. 13. One who is wary not to embarrass any man merits garments. Second part of clothes begotten. 1. Through stories of tzaddikim, through brackets telling and brackets stories of tzaddikim, the light of Mashiach is drawn into the world. Much darkness and troubles are dispelled from the world. And one also merits having attractive clothing. 2. One who is accustomed to cursing, through this he will not have clothes for Shabbos. 3. One who always beautifies his legs with fine garments, for example, wearing ostentatious shoes or pants, through this he comes to deceive others. 4. One who is negligent, brackets disrespectful, and brackets in the commandment of tzitzis does not merit burial. 5. One who makes clothing for his friend can change his friend's will in any way he wants, both materially and spiritually. 5. One who makes clothing for his friend can change his friend's will in any way he wants, both materially and spiritually. 6. When a man dresses in his father's clothes, through this it is easy for him to practice his father's traits. 7. Come, eat my food and drink. The initials of the Hebrew words in this verse spell lulav, from the wine, adding 4 of the letters of the word, has the same gematria, the numerical value, as the initials of esrog, hadas, aravo. Esrog, hadas, aravo, citron, myrtle, willow. The word masachti, I mixed, is an aspect of sukkahs, in that the words share the same root letters. Thus we derive that through the mitzvah of taking the 4 species and through dwelling in the sukkah, thus we derive that, and brackets, through the mitzvah of taking the 4 species, and through brackets dwelling in and brackets the sukkah, a man merits to have food, drink, and clothing, and also that his soul will receive life force. Through the sukkah, one merits to have clothing, an aspect of when I put clouds as his garments. Through the willow, one merits beverage. Through the myrtle, one merits to vitalize the soul. And through the lulav and the esrog, one merits eating, for they have fruits, which are types of food. Chapter Trust, bitachon, trust in brackets in God. 1. One who has trust in brackets in God and in brackets does not have any fear. 2. Through trust comes peace. Through trust in brackets in God and in brackets comes peace. 3. Trust comes through fear of heaven. Trust in brackets in God and in brackets comes through fear of heaven. 4. Through faith one will come to trust in brackets in God. 5. One who doesn't have trust, he tells lies. One who doesn't have trust in brackets in God and in brackets he tells lies. 6. Through lies one cannot have real trust, brackets in God. 7. One who is confident in the blessed God, the Holy One, blessed be He, saves him from all troubles, and especially from being murdered. 8. Through trust a person does not need to come on to his friend. Also, no person will embarrass him. Through trust in brackets in God and in brackets a person does not need to come on to his friend. Doesn't need his friend. Also, no person will, in brackets, can embarrass him. 9. Through trust a person is safe from worry. Through trust in brackets in God and in brackets a person is safe from worry. 10. Through trust one merits to know holy names. Through trust in brackets in God and in brackets one merits to know holy names. 11. One who does not possess the trait of trust should guard himself not to embarrass any man. Also, he should be careful to pray with intention. One who does not possess the trait of trust in brackets in God and in brackets should guard himself not to embarrass any man. Also, he should be careful to pray with intention in brackets of the heart and in brackets. 12. One who has trust will not die before his time. One who has trust in brackets in God and in brackets will not die before his time. 13. One who does not have trust should rise before the dawn and say supplications aloud. One who does not have trust, in brackets, in God and in brackets, should rise before the dawn and say supplications aloud. 14. Through being silent, one will merit to trust. Through being silent, one will merit to trust, in brackets, in God. 15. Through being careful not to shake hands, one merits to the attribute of trust. Also through not associating with the wicked. Through being careful not to shake hands, brackets, to seal an agreement, and in brackets, one merits to the attribute of trust, in brackets, in God, and brackets. Also through not associating with the wicked. 16. Through adulation, chanupa, flattery, adulation, trust is lost. Trust, in brackets, in God, and in brackets, is lost. 17. The waters of the Yarden, of the Jordan, are a segula perpetuus for trust, in brackets, in God, and brackets. 18. Through trust, a person comes close to the blessed God. Through trust, in brackets, in God, and in brackets, a person comes close to the blessed God. 19. One who trusts in Gentiles, what is his is theirs. What is his is, in brackets, will be, and in brackets, theirs. Second part of trust, v'tachim. 1. When a person carries out an act with faith and is ensnared by some type of hitch, in brackets, or violation of the Torah, and in brackets, he should trust that the Holy One, blessed be He, will save him, in brackets, and in brackets, the Holy One blessed, He set this pitfall for him, and the Holy One blessed, He set this pitfall for him, so that he would blaze a path for his descendants in this trapping, that they will be saved from it. 2. One who guards himself from thoughts of idolatry merits every time to trust, merits every time to, in brackets, attain, and in brackets, trust, and in brackets, in God, in brackets, in God, and in brackets, until he. One who guards himself from thoughts of idolatry merits every time trust, until he does not worry what he will eat tomorrow. This is the level of blessed is the Lord day by day. Through this, the Holy One, blessed be He, does not see wrongdoing or evil in him, and all who harm him, it is as if they harm the pupil of God's eye. One who guards himself from thoughts of idolatry merits every time to, brackets, attain, and in brackets, trust, in brackets, in God, and in brackets, until he, in brackets, attains such trust that he, and in brackets, does not worry what he will eat tomorrow, brackets, even though he has nothing for the next day. He trusts that God will provide, and in brackets, this is the level of blessed is the Lord day by day. Through this, the Holy One, blessed be He, does not see wrongdoing or evil in him, and all who harm literally touch him, it is as if they harm literally touch the pupil of God's eye, brackets, so to speak. Chapter Besoira, tiding. 1. One who is accustomed to saying good tidings, he is enclothed with an aspect of Elijah. 2. Do not bear bad tidings, for due to bad tidings numerous people have passed away. 3. One who fulfills a commandment as it was said, evil tidings do not come to him, and the Holy One, blessed be He, decrees and He annuls. One who fulfills the commandment as it was said, brackets, there are different interpretations as to what this demands. The Maharsha explains that it means for the sake of heaven. The Maharal explains it to means in completion, exactly as it was commanded. End of brackets. Evil tidings do not come to him, and the Holy One, blessed be He, decrees and He annuls. 4. One who bears evil tidings falls into small-mindedness. Second part of tiding Besoira. 1. One who is accustomed to bear good tidings. Through this, his feet will not hurt him. Chapter Blessing Brachah. Second part. 1. The one who is blessed should give the one who blessed him a gift. The one who is blessed should give the one who blessed him a gift. 2. The blessing of a non-Jew should not be insignificant in your eyes. 3. One who brings those who are far close to the service of the blessed Lord, the blessings are given over to his hands. The blessings are given over to his hands, meaning is empowered to grant blessings. Chapter Crying B'chia. Second part. Someone who cannot cry should look at the sky, for it caused the water to cry. 2. Crying annuls promiscuous thoughts. 3. A skula for healing sickness of the neck is to cry over the destruction of the temple. Again, these were chapters, letter beis, Chapters Bonim, Beis, Bisha, Begudim, Bituchain, Besoira, Brucha, Bechil. Bonim, children, Beis, house, Bisha, shame, Begudim, clothes, Bituchain, trust, Besoira, tiding, Brucha, blessing, Bechil, crying.